passive tense to learn today. It's the perfect passive verb tense. Now, let's do a quick review. So far we have learned the present passive tense. So, carta confirmatur, there's our passive. The charter is confirmed. And if you remember, we can add to the end of any of these sentences by zombies, and that will tell us that it is passive. All right, imperfect passive tense, carta confirmabatur. So you see the regular imperfect passive ending. The charter was being confirmed, again, by zombies. Future passive tense, which you learned last week, which is carta confirmabitur. Looks normal. The charter will be confirmed. Pretty easy, just a quick review. I'm going to put the same sentence into perfect passive tense. Carta confirmata est. So here we have an entire verb phrase. It's 2 words long, and it is the charter has been confirmed. Now, the perfect passive uses the fourth principal part of the verb, and in English we call that fourth principal part the past participle. And the thing about the past participle is it behaves like an adjective. So let me repeat that. The fourth principal part, or the past participle, behaves like an adjective, both in English and in Latin. Now, you haven't known it's really behaved like an adjective in English because you use it all the time. So not any different in the Latin. So because it's an adjective, it must match the noun it modifies in gender, case, and number. So the easy part is that the past participle declines like a first and second declension adjective, so it's just us, a, Those are all the easy endings to remember, right? The first ones you learned. And the case will always be nominative, since the verb will always be about the subject. Now, carta. So let's take a look at our sentence here. Carta confirmata est. Now, carta is nominative, singular, and it's also feminine. That's important to note. So the fourth principal part, or the past participle of the verb, if I was going to see it in Latin, you'll see it in the glossary as confirmatum or confirmatus. And the reason sometimes you see it as and sometimes you see it as us is, remember, it now behaves like an adjective. So this verb, this part, has gender, and it's just dependent on what your glossary chooses. So it doesn't matter if it's or us. Okay. So is neuter, and us is masculine. You won't ever see it in the feminine. You'll just see it in one of those two. Okay. So you take the stem of the fourth principal part, which is confirmat, and then you add an a, and what you'll get is the nominative, because the a is the nominative, singular feminine ending, because carta is a feminine word. It has to match, remember, adjectives have to match the nouns they modify in gender, case, and number. So then you get confirmata. Now, our verb rather scarily looks like a noun now, doesn't it? Right? So what we take is the fourth principal part, the past participle, confirmatum, find the stem, so take off the ending, add the ending that you need, either feminine, masculine, or neuter, nominative, singular, or plural, and then there's your new word. Now, you'll notice that the verb est, see it right here? The verb est comes after the verb. Now, in English, the verb confirmed, right? The charter has been confirmed. You'll notice that it has a helping verb. Either can be was or has been. The same thing happens in in Latin. Okay? So for perfect passives, you'll add the present form. The present form of the to be follows the verb. It's not attached to it. It's a separate, you'll see here, confirmata est. It's a separate word. It's not attached to it. Now, in this case, charter is third person singular, so we have est, which is third person singular. So it also matches. Now, even though this is a perfect tense, you add the present form of the to be verb. Now, when translating in English, the book says that you can use the imperfect was or were, although technically correct. I wouldn't always recommend that because you can become confused. So if you translate has been or have been, you'll never be wrong. And was or were is totally okay, but I know that it can be confusing when there. Okay. So, but don't translate sum es, sumest, es, sunt in the present tense, but you've got to do it in the perfect tense. So if you fill in from your chart book, I want you to go ahead and fill this in, and it may be really helpful to add these into your chart book as well, so you make sure that you do the have been instead of the present tense. Okay. Now, if you don't, here's a hint. If you don't know the gender in the case of first or second person, which is I, we, you, or y'all, use the masculine, because you'll never be wrong if you use the masculine. And it'll always be masculine or feminine. It'll never be neuter, because people cannot be neuter, right? So all of these are masculine or feminine, and then third can be masculine, feminine, or neuter. All right, so let's take a look. Vocata est. She has been called. So what you see right here is the a, and it's singular. So this is third, right? Third singular. And we see that this is in the feminine ending, so we know it has to be she. Vocata sum. This is the first singular. And this is masculine with the us ending. So we know that whoever is talking, we know that I am a boy, not a girl, right? Okay, look at the next one. Vocatai sumus. We see it's second plural, so we know it's a we, but who is talking? AE. So we know that we are women. And if you remember, if there's a single male in a group, it becomes masculine, so that we know that these are all women. All right, let's take a look. Remember, these are only nominative. They'll be nothing but nominative, but they can be singular or plural. So let's look at vocata sunt. So here we have our third plural, so we know it's a they. They have been called, but we know that the a is neuter plural. So really, what we're talking about are their things have been called. They're not people, because it's neuter. All right, vocatai estis. So here we've got second plural, and we have ae, which means that it is feminine, and so the y'all are girls or women, right? They can not be male. And vocatum est, here we have a neuter ending. It's neuter, and it is third singular. So it has to be it. It has to be a thing, not a person. And then the last one, vocatus est, you have been called. So here we have second singular, but we have a masculine ending. So you have been called, we know that we're talking, we know that you are male. Okay, so slow down, just take a look at it, label it out if it helps you visually, and it's really easy to figure out. I mean, it tells you. You cannot make a mistake if you know your first and second declension endings, and you know sum es, sunt, which is some of the first things that you've learned. It's just looking at verbs in a different way for the very first time, which can be a little scary. But I promise, I'll walk you through it and it won't be scary. All right, here we go. Pueri moniti sunt. So we've got here, pueri is the boys. And then here we have the entire verb phrase. Okay, so the boys, and that means to warn. So this is, because this is nominative plural, this will have a masculine nominative plural ending on it as well. And so sunt is third plural, right? So the boys have been warned. Remember I told you you can go ahead and say the boys were warned. That's fine too. You might see that sometime, but that goes into the perfect. All right, periculum non visum est. Here's our entire verb. It's not just est, because remember, you got to look backwards and see that that's a verb, but that's got a noun ending on it. So periculum, this is nominative singular, it's in the neuter, which is why we have a um ending. So the danger has not been seen. Okay, last one. Literi scripti sunt. So here we go. Scripti sunt is the whole verb phrase, and literi is nominative plural. And we know that it's feminine, which is why there's a feminine plural ending on here to match. So feminine, nominative, plural ending. They match exactly. Remember, because adjectives have to match the nouns they modify in gender, case, and number. So we've got the letters. We're going to translate it, have been written. And we know that we've successfully put these into plural because we can always add by zombies. The boys have been warned by zombies. The danger has not been seen by zombies. The letters have been written by zombies. Okay, homework hint. When you are translating sentences, underline or bracket the verb phrase to visually set it apart. Remember, just like I did here, moniti sunt, wisum sunt, and scripti sunt, because otherwise you'll accidentally end up ignoring the first part of the verb and just try to translate that to be part, and then you'll get yourself in trouble.